Bronco, what was it like being on the field with these new offensive coaches?
A lot of energy, a lot of intensity, a lot of demand, a really high work ethic for the players, and it was, I thought, a real strong unifying effect just in terms of work ethic from what I saw today for the entire team. And those would be those would be the descriptors, I would say.
Typical first day of camp, or
no? I think it's probably the hardest our collective team has worked since I've been the coach. So the demand was really high. Typical first day in terms of lack of execution, and so that tempo with that demand with a new system, the offense certainly has a long ways to go in terms of execution. But it's the hardest I thought they've tried in terms of work ethic since I can remember.
Bronco, you made it very clear on National Signing Day that the quarterback position is wide open, but is there a certain pecking order going into fall camp?
It would start with Taysom Hill just because of some experience from a year ago. But that's it's really not enough to say then he's the heir apparent or he's the established quarterback. But if you had to say, is there a pecking order, it would start there first. But that's not a huge lead over anybody else.
How did he do today? Has he loaded much at all?
You know, he handled it pretty well, and I think it might lead us to being in no pads more, just for the sake of developing a quarterback. It might be slightly at the expense of the rest of our team, but that's an important position. And if it would allow me to get 2 or 3 more practices out of looking at our quarterbacks, especially Taysom in non-pads, then we'd probably trend that way.
How tough is it going to be to install this new offense where you guys are looking to get a snap off every 20 seconds?
Well, it's been done before, and I don't have a lot of experience with saying how tough it was, but I know this. It was, again, the hardest that I think our team has worked, not only offensively but defensively, trying to keep up with it. And so, yeah, our conditioning we did at the end, that's probably going to go away from what I've seen during practice.
What makes you convinced that this offensive staff makeover will be effective?
Oh, I'm not sure any of us are convinced, but what I am convinced of is they'll work really hard. There's a history of success, not only with myself and Robert together, but the systems that he's run. And so when you look at, I mean, you could trace it back to the passing game that's part of Texas Tech, the success we had at BYU, what he just did at Arizona, and really the best predictor of future performance is past. And man, I think it was pretty good before. And then when you look at the people we put around him, I think they're all capable, competent, and really aligned with not only Robert, but with myself. And so, yeah, I'm hopeful.
Were you happy with the condition of the guys?
Yeah, they tried really hard, and they were actually able to go longer, harder than what I thought.
Did Taysom go more than you would have anticipated?
Yeah, I didn't know how much he would go, but he handled it really well. So I was encouraged by that.
Coach, with Bronco, with Mendenhall coming back, when a lot of people thought he had a great shot to go pro, what specific goals have you and he talked about for his senior season?
Well, we've talked about a couple of goals, but I think they're probably private. And if Kyle would want to share them with you, that would be up to him. But what I've shared with him is just between he and I.
Bronco, how about Mines and Olsen today?
Yeah. So many of the quarterbacks were just actually trying to get a snap that they could handle. The center play was kind of all over the place, and so that made it difficult to execute where they were having to catch the ball. So, but again, they both were willing, and I thought they both were prepared. And we have a transfer from Snow College, Christian Stewart, that got in there. He did some nice things. So, and then Tanner Mangum, again, we only have for a semester, but I would put all of them about the same at this point, and then Billy Green. So first day is really hard to say. We got a lot of plays in, but not enough execution to really be able to see.
Coach, you seem pretty invigorated, pretty energized. Is this as excited as you've been for spring football in a while?
I'm excited for the future of our program. Spring is just the phase we're in right now, but there's more to do here, and I'm pretty clear that it's possible. And I've just went through a really long process to try to help our program that I'm not anxious to ever do again. And my hope is that it works.
Do you have anybody in mind as to who Austin Holt could be like or turn into a defensive end?
Really hard to say after the first day. Work ethic-wise, though, I really like him, and he's tough. And I mean, right now we're just trying to get him in the stance and teach him where to go. But man, he sure works hard. So hard to say yet.
Coach, thoughts on the offensive line? It's only the first day, but what have you seen so far?
Man, we're lucky we have about 3 deep, but not many are scholarship players, and so we have at least 3 starters out to injury, and we have 6 junior college players coming, so there's up to 9 players that will be in our 2 deep on the front that aren't here. So it's nice to be able to practice, though. We have enough young talent, but also mostly walk-ons that are willing to help us practice. So there'll be 3 or 4 key evaluations that I can give you, but too early for that.
Do you have any input as to who gets on the call cards that the offense is using on the sideline?
In terms of, well, there's
personalities
there's a bobblehead that we just hold up. That works pretty well. You might be the only one that has a bobblehead that will go. The rest of you can lobby if you'd like, draw pictures or submit, and we'll maybe have a drawing or a raffle.
Bronco,
that was too big of an opportunity.
Hopefully we don't have to ask you about the contract extension talks this whole camp, but has there any progress been made?
No, and basically the way I'd like to handle that is I've made it really clear that I would like to stay, and that's big news in and of itself because I didn't expect to be here this long, but I feel compelled that there's more to do. And really all I've done is express my interest to the administration, and the rest of it you can talk to them and see, because that's really what's going to happen now is the time frame and the details will come from the administration.
Bronco, you said coming in the off-season workouts were going to have an impact on who was going to get opportunities to. Were you pleased with how that translated to?
Yeah, it was the most grueling off-season we've had, and I was really pleased with it, and man, I'm surprised the players handled the workout today as well as they did. They worked them hard, and man, they could still do that stuff at the end, which is pretty impressive. For any of us, it would be hard just to do that part.
Offense got to get to the Super Bowl of their own now, huh?
Yeah, it's. I think it's time.
Too much fun for the defense all these years.
So why have something that's so much fun and only keep it on one side?
Was that your recommendation?
You know, actually, it was kind of a collaborative effect between Coach and I, and we were both smiling when we thought of it.
Anything else?
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.